This is a demonstration to show you some of the newer functions and developments inside 3D Kitchen. If you'd like a more comprehensive demonstration of this, please call one of our sales agents and they'll take you through it a little more slowly. So this is going to be fairly quick, just highlighting the new functions. Some of you may already have some of these functions or may be aware of them, because we're going back a little way to show you quite a comprehensive look at where the software currently is. One of the new things is the ability to add objects to the design without going across to the add function on the left hand side. You can simply right click on any blank area of the design and then choose the category of objects that you want to view, and you can pick them from there without going across to the left, which makes designing a little bit quicker. Also, with the draw functions, so we have the ability to modify draw heights in design, so we can click on any of the draw fronts and change their height. So if I want to change this top one to say 150 mil and apply, it will put the balance into the bottom drawer. Now, what's also modified in here is that these are permanently set to 1 decimal point. So when there are fractions there, you don't have to set the entire program to do that. They will automatically display the correct value correct to 1/10 of a millimeter. This is mostly of importance to those of you who are going out to CNC machines, so that you get a very accurate size for cutting on your CNC. There's a new and clearer way of viewing the 2D options. So first of all, we select the area that we want to view and then click on the 2D icon, and you'll get a much clearer view of what's happening with dimensions clearly stepped out from the design. Where there is a narrow panel, for example, the dimensions step down, so they're still very clearly read, and the lighting is permanently switched off in this area so that the lighting and shading functions don't have any effect to upset this style of drawing. This also leads on to a newer function which allows us to save multiple images and apply them to a single document simply by clicking the 2D save image, and it creates subsequent numbers. So if we've done one before, so you can see this is a 2D image number 4, so we've done 3 previously, and they can be stored, well, they're stored already and can be applied to a document. So we'll show you that now. So I'll just open the 2D function, and I'll open the document that's already been created, and you can see that we've got a multi-page document, so we can go through the various pages and see what's been applied to that document. Now, we can add a new page to the document simply by clicking Add New Sheet. We can add an image to that document, and we can go to, for example, this is the new 2D elevation view I've just shown you. Click on the area and then place it, move it to wherever you want to. It can be resized and placed anywhere on the document, and the document can be saved and either directly printed or saved as a PDF so that you can send it to your clients. So I'll show you the PDF function now. So the PDF is created by just clicking File, Export to PDF, and then you give the PDF document a name. So I'll just bring up the saved document so you can see it's very clear and a small document ready to send to your clients. So the PDF sits in a subdirectory created automatically with each client's name. So all the documents relating to a client sit in their own directories. So I'll open the PDF document, and we'll just start at the top and show you that it creates a very clear, easy to understand document. So we can do the floor plan, for example, with the characters representing the cabinet codes, or with numbers. They can be done with both numbers and codes. This is a 3D example of that design. Another bird's eye view style in this area, and here the front of the island unit. There's a 2D option. It's a 2D option showing the shelving through the items, and there's just a standalone one for the island unit and so on in 2D. So they're very clear and very quick to generate, and they also include your own business logo, and all the data about the design is applied to the documents automatically. So anything can be applied to the document. If I just close this one down, we'll go back to the document itself. So in here we can apply not just images from the program, but images from any program can be applied in here, including text items that can be added in here. Text can be created and shifted around. It can be also have its font style and text color adjusted. Also we can have arrows which illustrate pointing from one object to another, and to illustrate something you may want to demonstrate in the program to your client. In the 3D mode, we've put in a new function to add lighting and shading. Some clients don't like this effect because of the different coloration it creates, but it is a true perspective of lighting and shading and color as it would be. If you don't like that, there's a function at the top here that will turn that lighting off. So just click that, and so then you just get this style of plain color no matter which direction you view from. It will all be consistent. Turn it back on again by clicking that icon and you get the same effect. Also, we've added a 3D object, which is a man that you can see in the room there. This is just to give some perspective to the design, showing what it would look like with a person, to give some scale to the image. We've modified the snapping behavior so that objects can be snapped together from the outside as well as from the inside. So if I take it's just a standard one-door unit, for example, and I'll place that here. Now the object can be placed, and if I just copy that and pick it up, I can place it in the normal way by dropping it inside the unit. I can also place it by dropping it outside the unit, and it will snap. Now this is important when it comes to attaching to narrow objects. So if we have an object such as a panel, then that can be snapped here, inside or outside, but it's difficult to snap inside because you needed to get near the grip point inside the object. Now you don't have to be concerned about that. You just go near the object and click, and it will snap correctly to the object. When selecting any object from the design, we've made the dialogues a little bit easier to follow as well. So we've made them all wider. So these all show the full cabinet code, and also they show the full comment line. So for users who are new to the program and would like to be able to see the comments clearly to help identify the cabinets they're using, then this is a full-size dialogues now to show you that clearly without scrolling from left to right. We have a new function that allows you to save and retrieve designs from any directory. So when we're opening a design, or when we're saving a design, now we have a function that has a user directory. So the default directory always has saved to the subdirectory of 3D Kitchen called Scenes. Now you can save anywhere by going to the user directory, and that will allow you to browse to any directory and store the file. That could be of importance to particularly people who are working across networks, or those who are working remotely and would like to store to a product such as Dropbox, which gives you access to the design from any of the your business's computers, no matter where they are, they can pick that design up. So that allows for a much broader ability to store and retrieve designs. You can also now rotate materials in design. So we'll just have a quick look at this 3D again. I'll just change this material on the cabinets so that the grain is more obvious. So we'll just go into the material category and I'll select those cabinet objects, and we'll select a different type. So I'll just scroll down and locate one. So we'll take a cinnamon ash that gives a better illustration. So we'll just bring that one up. So now you can see the grain is running vertically on all these objects. So they can be changed globally. So I can select the material, I can choose them all, and I can rotate them. And OK, so now they'll be running horizontally. Now, also individual objects can be changed. So if you don't want them all running that way, I'll just select this one cabinet here, and I'll select its material, and I'll make it a local material, and I'll just reset that to normal. Then I simply click the rotation icon and say OK to that, and this one cabinet will be set to vertical while the others remain horizontal. So you can have the entire design done, or you can do it cabinet by cabinet to suit whatever you want. The material rotation works on any object, so cabinets, floors, ceilings, walls, anything with a pattern can have that pattern rotated. We have new fully three-dimensional objects such as sinks and cooktops, which will display correctly in 3D, showing depth. So these will take priority, actually cut out the bench where the sink will be placed. So this kind of object is like this one here, so I'll just pull that aside and we'll have a look at the bench. So it's just a standard bench, and when we pick the object up and snap it to the sink, to the bench, the sink will display correctly with its depth and cut the hole in the bench for display purposes so that you can see it accurately. There's a new function that can automatically add benches and toe kicks. So we'll just add a few new cabinets in to show you that. So I'll just quickly add a corner cabinet here, and we'll just add in a few more square cabinets. So maybe just take three door. So I'll just place these along, and I'll just pick this unit up and copy it to the other end. So what I'll do is select those objects, go operate on the selected objects, operations, and there's a new function for toe kick here and counter here. So we can just click that and it will place it automatically. So you can see the counter is on. Then it can be extended in the normal way. So we can just select the object and extend it outwards and create the overhang, and OK to that. Then it can have materials and so on applied, so it makes it quicker. The restriction to that is that the objects must be the same depth and the same height, so otherwise the bench won't go on. The previous system for adding benches by clicking into the snap points on the corners of the object still exists, so you can do it either way. There are some new functions for adding lighting, so I'll just delete these lights here. And we can go into the lighting category and choose some three-dimensional lights so they can be applied and they will create the light for you, as well as being a 3D object. So if I place them, I'll just place 3 of those across here, give an example, and when we generate the 3D, you'll get the 3D object as a light, and it will also apply light to the design as well. So there's several of those new objects. Also, you might notice on the left-hand side here the dialog boxes for those of you who had trouble reading those because they were a little bit faint. We have now made these dialogues with white backgrounds and bold, clear, black text, so they become very simple and easy to read when you are doing things. So, for example, you can read them when you're moving around, but if you want to make a measurement between a couple of objects, so you can choose the measurement. You can measure, say, from the front of this cabinet to the front of this one, and the measurement will be very clear now, so that just makes it a little bit easier to read. There's a new multi-function cabinet style, so we can choose create objects like this. These are not group objects, they're single objects now. So I'll just place a couple of them side by side the same, and just choose those 2 objects. So you can see at the moment they're identical. So all you do is so right click on this one, click the tower function, and we can change them so that they're different heights. So the gaps and the drawers and the spaces in between and the doors and everything are all adjustable. So if I change the bottom height to 150 millimeters and apply, it'll place the balance in the top one, which is currently 351. So you'll see that goes to 466 now. And again, I can make the drawers 150, say 150 there, 150 there, and apply. Everything stays the same except those drawers. So when we check that again, you'll see the changes that have happened. Anything can be made any size in this object. Now the importance of that is especially for in the 3D design, you can line your shelving up or drawers up quite simply. But the big benefit is for CNC operators, because the shelving, all the positions for your drilling are automatically generated, whether they're fixed shelving or adjustable shelving. The drawer heights, the runners, the hinges for the doors, and everything is all automatic. Now there's one other feature with that, so I'll just select a different style of cabinet. So we'll just take one, if I can just find one for a minute. Just try and find one with all shelving there. Okay, so I'll just pick this one up, and again we'll put a couple here and select them, view them. Now again, you can see they're identical, and again, so the same applies for these. The shelving can be shifted to be whatever you want. So if I right click on here and go to tower and change say the midsection to 300, and it'll apply the balance to the top section, which is currently 410, now it's 909, and so okay to that, and check that again. So you'll see what's happened. So this bottom shelving stay the same, the top gap has moved to take up the balance. Now you may want those equally spaced, so you can right click on that. You can go to the tower function. This is for shelving units only. We can say we want equal spacing, and we say the material thickness is 16 mil, for example, and apply that, and it will give you exact equal spacing for all those shelves in that unit. Now that applies no matter how many shelves there are. So if there's just one shelf in the middle, it will center it, for example. So that's quite a useful function for upper cabinets, pantries, wardrobes, oven units. The other a good feature about that is the 2D function. So what I'll do is I'll just right click on this one and I'll put its dimensions to the left, and I'll put this one to the right, and what it does is apply the positions of those points. So they're also clearly illustrated. So, and again, it doesn't matter whether they're just shelves or whether they're drawers and doors as well. All the heights will be automatically displayed in the 2D function. Another new thing within the 2D display is that now it will automatically display the toe kick height. So you can see it listed here, 110 millimeters. So that previously wasn't displaying. Now that it's automatically displaying the same as the bench thicknesses are. So there's also a new function to globally change objects depths as well as heights. So the depth is a new one, and combined with that there's a new function to automatically select groups of objects. So instead of using the select by area, you can select base cabinets, upper cabinets or pantries. So I can click select base cabinets, will automatically select them all. I can go to operate on selected objects, and now I have a height and depth adjustment. So I'll change the height down to say 650 just to illustrate, and then I will change the cabinet depths to show that as well. I'll change them down to say 450 mil and apply that, and you'll see that they've all changed. So I'll just deselect that. It's not going to look right now because they're all wrong, but you can see that they've automatically adjusted to be the different depths and heights. This makes changing objects quite quick instead of having to go through one by one. So we can select upper cabinets in the same way, and we can select pantries as well, which there's only 2 panels in this case. So you can quickly operate on those objects, changing their dimensions. There are also some new floor pattern functions, as with many other patterns in the program. So I'll just change this pattern here. So we'll just go to the scene specifications, auto floor material, and I'll just select the floor option. So we'll take say the Marabou, apply that just to start with, and show you the 3D of that. So that comes up with the grain or the panels running this direction. So they can, apart from changing the patterns, you can also change that direction. So we can go back to the scene specifications, material, select it, change the orientation by rotating it, and OK. And so that will now be running along the design instead of from front to back. So they can be switched around to suit however you want them to be. There's a new function for moving selected objects, so I'll just open a different design to illustrate this. So if I come to this design here, I'll just give you a quick look first of all. So this is a kitchen with a scullery built in, so we can view that. And if I want to select some objects and move them without linking them, then I can do that with the group object selector. So just for example, if I can say select all base cabinets, so that turns everything there green. Then I can go to the group object, selected object manager, operations, and pick them up. So now I can just go anywhere and select them. So I'll just pick them up and copy them. So I'm just taking a copy of those. Now you'll see I'll just scroll out, I can rotate those about that axis and move them and place them anywhere I like. So they stay relative all the time, so I'll just drop them outside here, and then I'll just deselect them and give you a 3D illustration. Okay, so you can see now when I regenerate these objects that the ones that I've picked up have all stayed relative and they've moved out into this position. Now, they don't have to be like objects, they can be all different categories of objects. So whatever is selected can be picked up, moved, rotated, snapped to other objects very quickly without having to combine them. Thank you for watching this short demonstration. If you'd like some more detailed information, please call one of our sales agents to discuss with them. You can find their contact details on 3dkitchen.com and click on Contacts. Thank you.